Hello class, how are you all? So are you ready to start the next chapter of history, which is chapter 2, From Trade to Establishing Power. In this chapter you will study about declination of the Mughal Empire, incoming of western trading companies to India, the Carnatic Wars, conquest of Bengal, Battle of Plassey and Buxar, dual government in Bengal, Pitt's India Act, Anglo-Mysore War, Anglo-Maratha War, Anglo-Sikh Wars. Let's first start with the declination of Mughal Empire. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD, the Mughal rulers after him were very weak and Mughal court itself was divided into many groups such as Turani, Afghani, Irani and the Hindustani. They were always in fight among themselves. The Mughal governors took advantages of the situation and separated themselves from the empire. They established their own kingdoms such as Awadh, Bengal, Deccan, Mysore, etc. The invasion of the Persian ruler Nadir Shah in 1739 gave a final blow to the rule of Mughals. This made a good opportunity for the foreign traders to establish their strongholds in this country that finally resulted in the establishment of their rule in India. Incoming of Western trading companies to India. The discovery of sea route to India by a Portuguese sailor and trader made the European trading companies doing business in India easily. Trading companies from Portugal, Holland, England, France, and Denmark set up their trading centers in different parts of the country. The place where trading companies were set up were called factories. The word factory was derived from the word factor, which represented the company's officials. Vasco da Gama landed at Calicut in 1498 and marked the beginning of the European era in Indian history. By the 16th century, the Portuguese had established their colony in Goa. In the next century, India became a popular destination for a large number of European traders, adventurers, and missionaries from England, Spain, France, Holland, etc. This is the image of Vasco da Gama. Disintegration of the Mughal Empire gave opportunity to the European to take advantages of the situation. Many European companies established their trading centers in coastal areas and fortified the factories. They brought spices, cotton textile, indigo and saltpetre at cheap rates from India and sold them in Europe and America at high prices. It created a competition among the foreign trading companies. The British East India Company. The East India Company was started by the group of merchants who received the grants from Queen Elizabeth I in 1600. The main idea was to carry trade in the East. The history of the world has not witnessed a more amazing story than the establishment of the British Empire in India. It was not the result of a deliberate effort, but a series of episodes that finally led to the political dominance of India by the East India Company. This is the image of a ship, European trader ship, to India in 17th century. The French East India Company. In 1664, the French set up their trading centers in India. The headquarters was Puducherry. Other factories set up by the French were Mahi, Chandernagar, Yanam, and Karaikal. They were controlled by the French government and the government provided them financial support. Both the English and the French were present in India for a common cause. There was a clash between the two nations which resulted in Carnatic Wars. Do you know, the East India Company enjoyed a privileged position with the English government and was granted special rights like trade monopolies and tax exemptions, causing resentment among its competitors. The Carnatic Wars. These wars were a series of battles fought between the English and the French for the control of the trading post of India during the years 1746 to 1763. Most of the battles were fought in the Carnatic and other parts of Tamil Nadu. The First Carnatic War 1746 to 48. The French trading company's headquarters was in Puducherry and English at Madras for Fort St. George. The trouble between the two countries erupted at Arcot, the capital of Carnatic, situated between Puducherry and Madras. The French attacked Fort St. George under the General Dupleix. They were confident of their military power. The French supported Chanda Sahib, who was son-in-law of Nizam of Hyderabad, as the new Nawab, and the English were in favor of Muhammad Ali, son of Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic. A war broke out in which the French were defeated. The Second Carnatic War, 1749 to 54. The French collected revenue from the Nizam of Hyderabad for providing him protection, but in reality, the money was utilized to maintain the French army. A war between the son of Nizam-ul Mulk Nasir Jung and the grandson of Nizam-ul Mulk Muzaffar Jung broke out after the death of the Nizam. the French signed a secret treaty with Muzaffar Jung and Chanda Sahab to help them with well-trained French forces. They defeated Nasir Jung and Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic, and gained monopoly of trade over South India. Anwaruddin died in the battle and his son Muhammad Ali ran away. On the other hand, the English plotted with Nasir Jung and defeated the French army. This is Fort William, Kolkata. Do you know Robert Clive, a clerk in the English company, started building up small army units at the Presidency settlement at Fort William in Bengal, Fort George in Madras, and the Bombay Castle by recruiting Indian soldiers. Robert Clive succeeded in making a name for himself among the native princes. He won many more battles for the English and foiled the French general at every turn. Dupleix. The French general was called back to France in disgrace. This is the image of Robert Clive. The Third Carnatic War, 1756 to 63. The Third Carnatic War started when the British forces captured the French settlement of Chandernagar and defeated the French. They also captured Puducherry. The war ended with a treaty to return Puducherry to France. The French East India Company was dissolved in 1770. Now the French ambition to establish an empire in India ended and the British supremacy was firmly established. This is map of India in 1765 AD. Conquest of Bengal. The British wanted to control the rich province of Bengal. Ali Vardi Khan followed the policy of keeping the European merchants under control. He was an able administrator. But after his death, his grandson Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab. The British started extending the fortification of Kolkata. Siraj-ud-Dawla's troops took over Kolkata. This is the image depicting Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey 1757. This battle was fought between the forces of East India Company under Robert Clive and the army of Siraj-ud-Dawla at Plassey, which is between Calcutta and Murshidabad. Mir Jafar bribed Indian soldiers to throw away their weapons. Clive won the battle. The British made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal, but Mir Jafar was unable to fulfill the constant demands of the British. He installed Mir Qasim as the Nawab. He granted equal trade facilities to the British. The British and Indian merchants, irritated and attacked him. Mir Qasim took refuge at Awadh with Shuja-ud-Dawla, where the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam was also taking refuge. Battle of Buxar 1764. Shuja-ud-Dawla, Mir Qasim and Shah Alam joined hands and fought against the British army at Buxar, but they were defeated. The British became the masters of India. Dual government in Bengal 1765 to 72. The Nawab looked after the administrations and the company controlled the army, the judiciary and the revenue collection of Bengal. This arrangement gave great power to the British without giving them any responsibility. The general public suffered. Thousands of people died in the Bengal famine in 1770. The company did not help the victims and the Nawab did not have the resources. In 1772, Warren Hastings, governor of Bengal, abolished the dual government and gave the complete control over Bengal. Pitt's India Act 1784. The British passed the Regulating Act of 1773 to regulate the activities of East India Company. But the corruption of the company officials continued. Therefore, in 1784, Pitt's India Act was passed. It set up a board of control to remove the shortcomings of the Regulating Act. Anglo-Mysore War 1775 to 1818. Warren Hastings faced stiff resistance from the Marathas in the north and Hyder Ali in Mysore. Mysore's growing power alarmed the British that led to war. This is the image of Hyder Ali. The First Anglo-Mysore War 1767 to 69. In 1767, the Nizam, the Marathas and the English made a triple alliance against Hyder Ali of Mysore as they were jealous of his increasing power. But Hyder Ali beat the English at their own game by making peace with the Marathas and burning the Nizam with territorial gains. He attacked Arcot. The British incurred heavy losses. They were bound to sign a treaty of peace and mutual help with Hyder Ali. The Second Anglo-Mysore War 1780-84. In 1780, the English wanted to attack the French at Mahe, situated on the west coast of Mysore. Hyder Ali did not permit it. The English declared war against Hyder Ali and his alliance with the Nizam and the Marathas. Hyder Ali defeated the English army and captured Arcot. Hyder Ali died, but his son Tipu Sultan continued to fight against the British. The battle concluded after the Treaty of Mangalore in 1784, when both the parties decided to restore each other's conquered territories and set the prisoners free. The Third Anglo-Mysore War, 1790 to 92. Tipu Sultan invaded Travancore, which was under British protection. Tipu's alliance with French did not help as France was busy in French Revolution. Tipu was defeated and had to sign the Treaty of Seringamapatnam in 1792. Mysore had to hand over half of its territory to British along with Tipu's two sons as war hostages. This is the map of India in 1790 to 92, Third Anglo-Mysore War. This is the image for southern India, Anglo-Mysore War, and this is the image of Tipu Sultan. The Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, 1799. Lord Wellesley became the Governor-General of India in 1798. Tipu Sultan, known as Tiger of Mysore, tried to sign as alliance, but the French support did not arrive in time. Lord Wellesley attacked and the war ended with Tipu's death. Anglo-Maratha Wars. After the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, the Marathas broke into 5 groups: Peshwas, Gaikwad, Holkars, Bhosles and Scindia and their chiefs had a power struggle. The growing ambition of the English took advantage of the situation, which led to the Anglo-Maratha War, which was fought between 1775 and 1818. The First Anglo-Maratha War, 1775 to 82. This war started due to the successor to the throne by the Peshwas. The Maratha chief Madhav Rao II was supported by Nana Fadnavis and Raghunath Rao was supported by British. However, the British forces were defeated. A peace treaty called Treaty of Salbai was signed in 1782 and Madhava Rao II was made the Peshwa. The Second Anglo-Maratha War, 1803 to 05. In 1801, there was a conflict among the Marathas over Peshwaship. Peshwa Bajirao II entered the subsidiary alliance with the British and got British protection against Jaswantrao Holkar. The British troops drove Holkar out. Peshwa Bajirao signed a treaty with the British. It was opposed by Maratha chieftains, the Scindias and the Bhosles. This led to the Second Anglo-Maratha War in 1803. The Maratha chiefs failed to unity and were defeated by the well-equipped, disciplined British army. The Bhosles and the Scindias were forced to sign treaties with the British and hand over large territories. Do you know? Subsidiary alliance was the British policy of the providing military assistance to Indian rulers in exchange of paying for army maintenance. A British resident was stationed at the court for security from other rulers, but the main purpose was to keep other European powers away. Under the doctrine of Lebs, if any ruler died without leaving behind a natural heir to the throne, his kingdom automatically became a part of the British territory. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 1818. In this war, the office of Peshwa was abolished and the territories were taken up by the British. Between 1840 to 1826, the British had to fight many wars against the Gurkhas in the north and the Burmese in the northeast. The British signed peace treaties with them. Do you know? The British had to fight against the non-traditional armies of Pindaris who were cruel mercenaries. Warren Hastings, the first Governor-General of India, sent 1,20,000 men and 300 pieces of artillery and exterminated the Pindaris. Anglo-Sikh Wars. The First Anglo-Sikh War, 1845 to 46. The Sikh power was growing in the northwest region of Punjab. The British made a peace treaty with Ranjit Singh to check the growing power. After his death, there was continuous infighting among the Sikhs. The Sikhs built up strong army against the British and Afghan aggressions. When the British attacked the united forces of Punjab, Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs faced the huge British army, but Lal Singh and the commander Tej Singh turned traitors and Punjab army was defeated. The Treaty of Lahore was signed. The British occupied Jalandhar, Doa and handed Jammu and Kashmir to Raj Gulab Singh Dogra. The Second Anglo-Sikh War, 1848 to 49. The exile of Lal Singh on the charges of conspiracy was the immediate cause of this war. Lord Dalhousie, the greatest annexionist, attacked Punjab and annexed Punjab under British Empire. The British consolidated their power and limited the power of Indian princes. The British maintained a stronger army in India. The British Acts and Policies. Britishers brought some policies and acts that helped them establish their rule in India. They are as following. First, the Subsidiary Alliance System. Lord Wellesley became the Governor General of India in 1798. He wanted to expand the size of British dominion in India. So he introduced the system of subsidiary alliance, according to which every state of India was to keep relation with the British Company only and not with any other state of India. These states were bound to keep a British resident at their headquarters. The company made an assurance to protect their state in turn if there was a foreign invasion or invasion from the other kingdoms. The company took heavy charges from these states to maintain the British army in the name of protection of these kingdoms. This led to the losing of administrative as well as financial independence by the Indian rulers. The main rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance were Nizam of Hyderabad, the ruler of Mysore, the Nawab of Awadh, the Peshwa and the Scindia. This is the image of Lord Wellesley. The doctrine of lapse. The annexation policy of the British rulers continued and they came with another policy, doctrine of lapse. When Governor General Lord Dalhousie came to India, according to this policy, if the ruler of a state dies without a heir or her own son to become the next ruler, her state would be annexed or lapsed to the British ruler. If a dying king had an adopted son, the son was only entitled to the private property of his father, king. Using this doctrine, the Britishers annexed the states of Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Baghat, Udaipur, Jhansi and Nagpur. This is the image of Lord Dalhousie. Dalhousie also annexed Awadh by blaming its ruler of misrule and misgovernance. The Regulating Act of 1773. According to the Regulating Act of 1773, the Governor of Bengal took charge of the Governor General of India. Other two governors were the Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras. A Supreme Court was established in Calcutta. Officers of the company were strictly ordered not to take bribe. The Pitt's India Act 1784. According to this act, the governors of Bombay and Madras were made subordinates to the Governor General of India. A board of council was formed in England to look after the civil, military and revenue affairs of the company. Charter Acts. Charter Acts were brought by the British Empire to make rule in India stable. The Charter Acts were given first, the Charter Act of 1793. According to this act, the Governor General of India was given more power and the members of the company were to be paid in Indian rupees. Second, the Charter Act of 1813. According to this act, the East India Company's monopoly to trade with India was abolished and the amount of 1 lakh rupees were to be spent on the revival of Indian literature and promotion of scientific knowledge in India. Third, the Charter Act of 1833. According to this act, any Englishman who wanted to acquire land or property in India was given permission by the British Empire. Fourth, the Charter Act of 1853. The council headed by the Governor of India was to exercise its functions on the lines taken by the British Parliament. Judicial Reforms 1772. The Governor General Warren Hastings introduced judicial reforms in 1772 AD, according to which each district was to have a Diwani Adalat or civil code and a Faujdari Adalat or criminal code. In 1833, a law commission was formed to make codes of Indian laws. This led to the writing of Indian Penal Code, which meant one law for all. This is the image of Warren Hastings. Summing up, the discovery of sea route made the trade relations with India easier. The disintegration of the Mughal Empire led to the age of imperialism in India. Many European companies established their trading centers in coastal areas and fortified the factories. The Carnatic Wars were a series of battles fought between the English and the French for the control of the trading ports in the Carnatic and other parts of Tamil Nadu. Battle of Plassey 1757 was fought between the forces of East India Company under Robert Clive and the army of Siraj-ud-Daulah at Plassey, which is between Calcutta and Murshidabad. Thank you class. Let's meet in the next chapter.